Welcome to day 1 of our meditation challenge. Today is about getting familiar with the basics, getting familiar with the rituals of preparation that begin our practice. From there, we'll move into a little breath work and a little bit of mantra. To start, foundational, before anything else, we want to set a space. So we want a space that feels comfortable, a space that feels uncluttered if possible. And it's easy to get perfectionist about that, but the reality is you can meditate anywhere, on a park bench, on a train. You can meditate in the middle of jail. If you were in jail, really, there's no limits to where these tools can translate. But if you are in your home, finding a space that feels comfortable is foundational. And then from there, we want to find a seat that's comfortable. So I've been at this for a while, and this seat feels cozy for me on the floor. Sometimes I use a larger bolster to lift me up higher if my knees or hips are feeling especially tight. But for many of us just starting out, it actually makes more sense to sit in a chair or to find a relatively tall lift so that we're not fighting a slouch. Slouchasana, the slouch pose, is going to be the detriment of our meditation practice because our mind will just keep going back to my back hurts, I'm not comfortable, or it'll go to I can't breathe well, which is just the reality considering you're cutting off a whole half of your lungs here. So find a way that you can sit up tall. For some that's on the floor, for some that's with multiple blankets underneath you, and for some that's sitting in a chair. And if your body's experiencing discomfort and it actually makes more sense for you to lie down on the ground, that's great. Do that. Now that we've set our space, there are 3 R's that we'll remember every time we come back to our meditation practice. And this will be considered part of our meditative time. So if you make a commitment on your own to come to your meditation practice for 2 minutes or 5 minutes, or like today, 20 minutes, then these 3 R's will be included in that time. The first R is remember. Remember your why. Why are you here? Why do you want to meditate today? Keep it simple. Often a reason for me is I just want to feel more peaceful. Sometimes I don't even go that far with that lengthy explanation. I simply call on the word peace. Whatever reason is your intention is great. This is the moment to remember it. You might speak it out loud if that feels right for you. You might see it printed inside your head if you're visual. Or you might simply repeat it inside silently. The next R is release. We're releasing expectations because there's no bad meditation. And we can experience joy in any meditation, even if our mind is busy the whole time. So we're releasing the idea that meditation needs to look a certain way. And the last R is resolve. We remind ourselves that there will be distractions, but we're committed to setting them aside for this time. Whatever time period we've chosen, we commit to that time period. Come hell or high water. Now that we've set our 3 R's, we remember our why, we release expectation, and we resolve to practice. Now, we can turn inward on a deeper level. If it feels right for you, let your eyes softly close. And if not, let your eyes gaze down a few feet ahead of you at the floor. From here, bring a hand to the belly and a hand to the heart. A really friendly way to start meditation. The hand at the low belly is now our feedback mechanism. We're inviting the breath to draw all the way down into the lower palm so that our breath moves into the most receptive area of the lungs, with the most capillaries, so that our body receives a fresh dose of energy and oxygen with each inhale. As we exhale, we feel that the belly button gently releases back down into the spine. We'll notice that simple pattern, inhaling into the belly. Exhaling, lower hand softens back towards the spine. A few moments to notice the simplicity of the ocean of your own breath, your own pace. Feel the touch of your hands on your clothing or your skin. This reassuring mudra invites us to arrive right here, right now, in our bodies, in this moment. If ever you need to return to hand on heart and belly, or both hands on lower belly, to check in with your breath in a really visceral, really embodied way, you're more than welcome to. And if at this point it feels good to release your hands down to the thighs, you're welcome to do that. When we turn our palms face down, we're emphasizing the receptive, the release, and the letting go process of meditation. As you close your eyes here, feel as if the hands are melting on top of the thighs. The hands might be comfortable like this. There's one meditative trick we can employ, which is to take the pointer finger to the thumb and touch them together in Jnana Mudra. This creates a simple inward loop of our conscious awareness. And again, we're noticing our breath entering into the lower belly. Each time we notice the breath, we're arriving right here, right now. Now we'll start to notice a bit of the qualities of the parts of the breath. As you inhale, feel the breath fill up from the bottom of your belly all the way up towards the neck, like you're filling a water pitcher. And as you exhale, release from the neck all the way back down so that the belly is the last thing to empty out, and that belly button carves in gently and sweetly. Inhaling, the breath rises from the bottom up to the top, filling the pitcher. Exhaling, release from the top down to the bottom, letting go of the breath. Continue to use your awareness to track this breath. that moves in through the bottom of the lungs, travels to the middle lung and up to the top of the lung, and exhales from the top of the lungs to the middle lungs and all the way down to the low belly and even into the legs, as if you could breathe there as well. Tracking the breath with your mind's eye. Seeing the column of your torso as a picture that fills from the bottom to the top. And that empties from the top down to the bottom, nice and slow and full. And perhaps now the breath might start to move in and out through the nose if it hasn't already. That's also an incredibly efficient way to manage the breath for the health of our body. But if it feels like that creates more tension or it's just a lot to think about, then simply breathe naturally. As we get into the flow of this yogic breath that fills from the bottom, slowly rising up to the top, the full 360 degrees of the lungs filling front, back, and sides of the body. And the exhale softly releases from the face, neck, shoulders, chest, belly, hips, thighs even. We can start to notice the qualities of the inhale versus the exhale. The next time you inhale, notice how there is an expansion of the body in every direction. If you notice that your body is only expanding in some directions, for example, if you breathe in and your shoulders lift up to your ears or your chest lifts, that's a unidimensional breath. We want to invite that breath to expand the front and the back of our body, but also the side waist, the entire waistline, the side of our body. Noticing on your inhale how the entire torso now expands, front, back, and sides, from bottom to top, filling up with fresh oxygen, fresh energy, a newness. And again, as you notice the inhale, notice that breath provides our life force. And so by breathing in here in a fully expansive manner, we're actually inviting an uplifting force into our experience. We're inviting an awakening force. The inhale is expansive. It wants to grow. It wants to rise up from bed and go about your day. It's an energizing force. It's a force of rebirth, a force of a fresh new start. So we can add a mantra to our inhale, and that mantra is start over. Each inhale is a fresh new opportunity to begin our life again in this moment, right now, exactly as it is. Each time you inhale, if it feels right for you, add an extra tool of mantra or positive affirmation, inviting your body to start over and speaking those words silently, inwardly, or if it makes sense, whispering them to yourself. As you continue to breathe here, notice we are keeping our awareness on many things at once. The breath is expanding from bottom to top. The breath is releasing from top down to bottom. With each inhale, we're feeling the bright, expansive newness of this dose of oxygen we're receiving, and you might be adding a mantra. Start over. Start over. If at any point you notice that your body is really uncomfortable, and there's a few ways to go. You can either simply notice it. Notice that it's a distraction. And return back to your intention. You resolved to practice even amidst distraction. And if your body starts to feel pain, there's no need for pain or suffering. So simply make an adjustment if necessary. And then return to your long spine and hips heavy into the earth. And now begin to notice the exhale. With each exhale, your whole body softens around your bones, like the skin is an old coat hanging on a hanger of your shoulder girdle and your spine. The whole body releases down and lets go. The body is letting go and expelling of excess waste products in the form of carbon dioxide. This is truly a cleanse. Each exhale is this moment of letting go of the former moment. Really feel that for the next few exhales. Every cell releasing and dropping down towards the floor. You could even exaggerate that motion if it made sense for you. Exhaling from top of lungs down to bottom, letting the elbows drip heavy, the hands be warm and soft, releasing down, and the bones of the legs and the shins also release. It might make sense to support the potency of the exhale by adding a mantra that reflects what happens with the exhale, and that mantra's let go. With each exhale, inviting yourself to let go. And now, as you're ready, you might put the two together. Each inhale, the mantra is start over. Each exhale, the mantra is let go. Continuing for a few breaths, reveling in these complementary mantras and these complementary portions of the breath. And making a commitment here that in this moment you are letting go on the exhale of anything that's no longer serving you, anything from the past day, month, year, lifetimes, who knows. And each time you inhale, you're inviting in the fresh newness of possibility for your day, for this moment. One more full cycle to let go and start over. On your next inhale, invite the hands to draw into Anjali Mudra, the seat of the heart. Right and left hands come together, and the thumb touches the sternum. Inhale, the heart lifts upward towards the thumb, so the spine gets even longer here. And then we bow down to ourselves for taking the time to practice, remembering our intention. Honor yourself for taking the time to create more of that positive state in your life. Honor yourself for staying with it despite distractions. We bow to the light within each other, speaking the word Namaste. The light within me honors the light within you, which is the same light. Hands touch down to the floor to acknowledge the earth as the source of all life. Beautiful work for day one. Stay tuned for extra exercises in your inbox, optional suggestions for creating new space during this practice of starting over and letting go. And make sure to stay away from phones or email for the next 2 to 10 minutes, just to let this work kind of settle in. No need to rush right back into things. Be well, friends. Thank you.